My name is Joshua Frato. I was born in New Jersey. I currently live in Tampa, Florida. So my band, Spiritual Chaos, we're a metal band, American metal band. But if we had to put a label to it, I would say our closest things are probably melodic metalcore. But overall, we do a bunch of different stuff and different soundscapes, different vocal tones and solos and this and that. So we do anything and everything that we want to do. A bunch of projects that I'm currently working on. Aside from the band, I run a media page as well, Frato Photo. I do a lot of that stuff. I'm a content creator now, apparently, after a few videos going viral. And yeah, just always merch, this, that, just so much stuff. All right, so the social media thing, I woke up maybe 30 minutes in being like, I want to do another vocal cover. What if I don't do a vocal cover? What if I instead decide, hey, I'm going to teach somebody or I'm going to show somebody how I create this sound. And so I created it and I did that video nonchalant, just being myself, of how to sound like a bear. And it's nothing new. I mean, there's other vocal tutorials out there and stuff like that, and people are even better than me. But I tried to explain it in dummy terms, why and how to go about creating this sound. The hook immediately within like the first 2.5 seconds is, do you want to sound like a bear? And then I go, right? Like I make this stupid noise, and then it hit. It was lightning in a bottle. Like, I don't know if I could replicate that ever again. Yeah, because it was so random. It was March 3rd or something, March 6th, whatever that second week of March was for a Tuesday. And it was at like, maybe 10:30, because like the video didn't require much editing at all. And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna put this out there. And day one, I'm like, oh snap, this has 40 likes. Oh, day two, oh, this has 400 likes and 10K views. I wake up the next day, 70K views. What is going on here? This is insane. And then just all the other content that I've been creating with, the vocal covers and getting traction and noticed by my favorite musicians, and just taking that as like little wins, even though they're bigger than little wins, but taking them as little wins as a like moment of seeing that, oh shoot, this is like the checklist of growth. Like I'm growing as a vocalist, but I'm also like, now I got this other thing that's happening, and it's crazy to think like, how does this fit in my life, and how do I make this as something that I can use to benefit the band? Because at the end of the day, the band is my passion, and that's what I want. So who or what got me into music? I think a rough childhood got me into the more extreme stuff, but I've always been a fan of music. There's a really deep level of understanding that you can't articulate, that music answers that emotion that you're feeling. So if that makes any sense. But when it comes to like how I got into the stuff I'm doing now, it was a rough upbringing, and it was trying to escape that, and also trying to relate the anger and depression and everything else that I was feeling inside at that time. First bands I was listening to were The Offspring, and then Linkin Park. From Linkin Park, it went straight into the heaviest stuff. Like your gateway bands are usually like Slipknot or whatever. I went straight into Whitechapel, Suicide Silence. Like it was, and this was also because I was shown from a friend of mine back in the day, Lamb of God and Cradle of Filth, which absolutely scared the fuck out of me. Like I was like, what is this, and why are you doing this? Like, why are you showing me this Danny Filth being and doing what he does? And obviously I love these bands now as much as whatever, but back in the day, it was so scary for me, and I was listening like rap and other things, Eminem, Exhibit, I'm trying to think of other names that are just like super old, Nelly. And man, music has always been a part of my life, and when I felt like starting to do this, I guess it was just the need to express the frustrations I was experiencing as a child into my teens and early adult. Music overall is probably the most important thing in my life. I don't know how I would be able to function or articulate emotions of aggression or any of these things, be able to express some sort of desire or artistic side in me, that because I've always been artistic, or at least tried to be artistic. I drew, I painted, I did all these things. I was never super good at it. I would try singing, and I still don't think I'm super good at that. But when it came to just the idea of being able to release all the frustrations that I was experiencing, this was the outlet. And music being a part of my life in such a way, I don't know if people can function. So my writing process with myself, or even just the band, it's hard to really articulate, because there are moments in time where like you have to essentially do nothing and be bored, and all of a sudden inspiration hits. And it's like, where did this even come from? Or like you went through a rough time, or there's a certain riff that my guitarist writes, or whatever. Like, and I've always been a huge, I guess the word would be what, proponent or whatever, like a huge advocate for don't force things to make them fit. Like obviously if you have like concept albums or things like that, it's a little bit different. But when it comes to how I write and how I do things, I like to organically approach each individual line by how like music makes me feel. And for the most part, when it comes to my writing process, I need the music first. But that doesn't mean that when I'm going home today, that there isn't like a line that's gonna stick in my head, or like a line that I may have even read. There's actually a line that I want to implement as a lyric that I read from a church sign. I'm not even religious, but I was like, holy crap, that sounds so brutal in the context that I would give it. So I think inspiration can be pulled from everywhere when it comes to writing, for me at least. But for the most part, it is me needing their music already. And then when we get together and collaborate on music and sounds and everything else, then I feel like as an enjoyer of music, since I don't play music, that I can sort of guide what my guys are doing to be something that someone who is not somebody who plays music, who can appreciate that. And simply put, I go with my gut. All right, so our Desolate Dreams EP is essentially a message to my 25 to 28-year-old self, in that, hey, don't give up, life sucks, but you know what, there's moments in life worth living. And that essentially you need to get rid of the things that you don't like about yourself instead of getting rid of you. And the first song that we have, called Isolation, is about the idea essentially in which you don't want to be by yourself because you don't enjoy your own company. End is about the whole idea of contemplating and thinking about ending things for yourself, and that you are no longer part of this world. Demon Song is about staring in the mirror and then really not liking the person you're seeing, and that you are like on the edge of jumping off. Disconnect is about the idea of trying to maybe go through with it and then realizing that the ones that you love, you will leave behind, essentially in anguish, the very pain that you feel. And although we will never truly understand how much torment someone goes through, I still think at the end of the day that it is worth still going through it, so that the people that you love don't have to experience your loss at that 10x level. Because I mean, just think about all the insane feelings that you have when you lose somebody, and then you lose somebody who decided to just like not be a part anymore. It drastically affects you in many ways. So also the song Disconnect is about not seeing like your typical lyrics, but can't see the forest for the trees. So like you can't see yourself outside of yourself to realize that you are disconnected from the truth of how people see you, perceive you, and feel about you. But you are just caught up in your own little world of hurt. And eventually you decide to, at the end of that song, we have a feature, which is by my homies here in Riveria, where she sings the lines that are essentially in the perspective of somebody who is a friend or a companion, lover, or spouse, or whatever, about, hey, need you to stick around. I know you're hurting, but I'm with you in this, and I know and I feel and express your, I understand your pain as much as I can. And then At Ease, which is probably my favorite song and most vulnerable song that I've ever written lyrics to. And it's not like it's a whole lot of lyrics, but it is one of those songs that realizes that this world is cruel, and it's unusually cruel and unusual punishment, and that there's so much darkness that surrounds us, but at the end of the day, you won't give in. So advice that I would give my past self: yeah, take it easy on yourself, man. Take it easy, man. Breathe, just fucking breathe for a moment. Chill your shit. Listen, you're going through it right now, right? You're going through some fucked up shit, as a kid, or as, and also some of these, you're a victim of circumstance or the situation. There's part responsibility, but not to the extent of it's your fucking fault that your parents split up, or that your mother or father were fighting on steps and then you just happen to be the person in the middle, having to deal with the back and forth limbo bullshit. Anyway, so and just I have to make sure that it's said, but I forgive my parents a very long time ago. And that's another thing when you think about it, how many fucked up situations of generations has fucked up the next. And I think it's our responsibility to react to it, because that's really the only, we only have the ability of being able to react to certain things. There's a thing that I heard back when I was going through it at 25, 28 from a lecturer. His name is Jordan Peterson, and one of his rules in a book that he wrote was you need to treat yourself as if you were taking the responsibility of your child, but you need to, you wouldn't let your child go through that, so why are you letting you go through that? So you really need to start practicing some sort of self-love, and the responsibility of deciding, hey, you know what? I'm not going to let what happened to me when I was a kid, or even afterwards in the fucked up family situations and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to allow that to dictate where I'm going to go in life. And it's, I've been through it and I understand 100%. It's not as easy as, pull by your bootstraps or whatever the expression is. But at what point does it become your responsibility? So just in the most polite way I can say it, and most respectful way I can say it, just get the fuck over it and figure out how you're going to overcome these challenges, because you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice in the matter. You can either sit there and fucking dwell all day, or you can decide, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna create art. I'm gonna create some of the best art for all the fucked up shit that I've gone through, and hopefully someone can relate to it, and I help somebody else be able to go overcome that pain. Because that's exactly what Desolate Dreams is to me. It is that message that when I was 25, 28, going through some shit, being like, hey man, it doesn't get better right away, but guess what? You later down the road, you're gonna be able to appreciate these things, and you're gonna be able to appreciate life, even though this window of time has been so ugly to you. And I just want to really stress an importance on that. And you have to be the person who really does believe in yourself. And it's such a, I don't even know what the saying is, but it's so cookie cutter, to be believe in yourself. I think it's not so cookie cutter when you put in that time and effort and energy, and then you get those doubts. Because not that I don't believe in myself, but there comes times where there's a hint of doubt, and it's ignore it, keep pushing. And so keep pushing, and eventually down the road, you will see all of your hard work hopefully come to fruition, if that is the correct word. And hopefully you get to reap the rewards from that. And also, the last thing I want to say that I really want to make sure to if you want to get far in anything in life, you need to invest in people. You and I would not be sitting here doing this interview today if I didn't go, holy crap, your photography, and like all this other stuff, and then try to like genuinely add value to you. You know what I mean? Like be genuine, be true to who you are, and then also genuinely want to add value to people's lives. People can smell a snake from a mile or see a snake from a mile away or whatever. Like you're and then even if they can't, you're only going to get away with that so long. Like you're going to get outed, you know? So I think it plays true to when you add value to people's lives, in turn, whether it be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, whether it be something of like, it doesn't matter. And that shouldn't even be the afterthought anyway. But when you invest others and you add value to other people, in turn, you will get that value added back to you tenfold. That result shouldn't be what dictates how you do things. And I think that is why we're sitting here in the interview, why Spiritual Chaos is doing the way it is, as well as just me generally overall. And I think that is a very important piece of the element that many people struggle with or don't even think about, or they're so selfish that they only think of themselves. But at the end of the day, this whole music thing, what is it that brings us all together? It's community. When you have a community of like-minded people who've gone through some fucked up shit or some similar hurt or some whatever, who just want to connect and vibe and, you know, escape the reality of what their life is at the moment, like be nice, be kind, add value to people. Simple as that. Things to look forward to. Us as a band, we are performing at Ascara, May 31st. I'm so excited to be able to return back here. It is honestly one of my favorite venues. It's got such a cool vibe to it. But we'll be returning here, and then we have a tour with Riveria, as well as a band called Nova Mora from Atlanta, Georgia, I believe. It's a 5-day run. We'll be hitting Jacksonville, as well as Atlanta, Georgia, Spartanburg, South Carolina, if I got that correct, Charleston, North Carolina, and then Richmond, Virginia. I am so dummy excited, because it's going to be a good tour. It's going to be our longest one thus far. We're going to progressively get, you know, more and more dates on these things eventually with longer runs. But I think the idea of Spiritual Chaos is such a big thing for all my guys and I. And we plan on writing that, because we've seen what is working and what doesn't work. But we also want to make sure that we stay genuine to ourselves. So we have plans on new music. Music videos, more than likely shot by me and my wife. More content from me. Whatever works, figure it out. Maybe I'll start teaching vocals. I don't honestly know, because I've had some people hit me up for lessons already. How do you do that? Can you teach me? Like, it's like, you're like the 30th person who's asked me. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I just don't have the time for it. But other than that, hopefully more things Spiritual Chaos related.